Harrisburg Stampede, Justin Coble with
I gotta change the freaking...
Oh, there it is.
Basically, they were
It's
playing
Major
Major League, the real game, yeah.
Oh, shit, there's the Hattie.
Welcome to episode 101 of the Not Another Sports Podcast. My name is Jason.
And I'm David.
And this is the home of sports talk for the average Joe. It's been a bit. It's been a bit.
Just a tad. I mean, you know,
life happens. Life happens.
Yeah, you know, when you can't sick and you can't sick when you're sick and you can't really do much for a good while.
When you can't sick, I wish I can't sick.
Yeah, I wish I can't sick either. God, and I'm not even drinking.
Sure, that's just apple juice in that cup.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that part. We'll go with that. Yes, it's special apple juice.
Man. It's Daddy's Reserve.
It's Daddy's Special Reserve.
Oh man,
gotta love it.
It's freaking early, man.
We say this every freaking time. We go from
last time we recorded, the sun was up at this time. Now with daylight savings, the sun is barely up at this time.
Dude, we used to record at 10 o'clock at night, and throughout the whole night we're getting drunk.
Well, you are.
And now we're doing this.
I rarely drink when we record.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll go with that too. Yeah, okay.
No, I really don't. Here and there I have, but overall I don't.
Dude, I had a mini fridge next to me while we were doing this.
That doesn't surprise me.
I had a Coca-Cola mini fridge right next to me while we were doing this.
I know, you've shown me.
So, yeah.
Which we got to find time because I'm getting feedback that people want more hits videos. So we got to find time to do that. We gotta work the schedule here and figure out when we can do that.
My secretary will call your secretary. How's that? Or vice versa.
Yeah. Man, let me tell you, after we record here, I got to go grab a shower, and then we're running to Costco. So, nothing like getting my blood pumping and boiling right away, first thing in the morning. Nothing like. I don't dislike Costco. I dislike the people at Costco.
Yes, because it turns into a complete chaotic mess.
We've had memberships to Sam's. We've had memberships to BJ's Wholesale. Because you have to add the wholesale after BJ's because everyone makes a joke. So that's why you have to add the whole wholesale. I've never seen people unable to follow the flow of traffic like I have at Costco.
Yes. Well, the location is not the best either. I mean, trying to get out of there.
Oh, you mean in that little corner?
It's a little pain in the ass to get out of there, especially if you have to go the other direction from where you're.
I know.
From the one side. I mean, we normally go to Sam's.
We had a Sam's membership, but Jamie ended up going to Costco with Dave's wife Hannah, and Jamie loved it, and she's like, "Well, let's just get a Costco membership and do away with Sam's." That's fine, whatever. So here I am going to Costco, leaving the house at 9.
Yeah, Costco's only 5 minutes from work, and we still don't even go there.
I mean, the stuff's fine. We've gotten their salmon and their some of their take home things. It's good. I'm not going to say it isn't, but I don't like people to begin with. And then to have to go into Costco and have to deal with just the most dumbass people ever.
It's a sport. You're going for sport.
We're all lucky I have not clotheslined someone at Costco or headbutted someone.
He's still
Good
young.
Good story. So about a month ago, Gianna and I went. She wanted to come with me to run errands, and Jamie wasn't feeling good, so her and Logan stayed home. And Jamie's like, "Why don't you bring home a rotisserie? I always hear about how good the rotisserie is, right?" So Gianna and I come up, and we're in line at the rotisserie. They put the rotisserie chickens out. This one lady took 6 fucking rotisserie chickens. Who are you feeding with 6 rotisserie chickens? Or are you just a selfish twat who wants to take whatever you can get? Like, there's no rhyme or reason why you needed 6 rotisserie chickens.
Maybe she's throwing a party.
A rotisserie chicken party? Who has a rotisserie chicken party?
Apparently she does.
I just because you can does not mean you should. And I feel like this is a lesson a lot of people don't know yet.
Yes.
Just like when I was 18, I thought I could barge a car. Doesn't mean I should have, and we didn't because your mom talked us out of it. But I thought I could. If you don't know what barging a car is, I just highly suggest you go back and watch one of the old CKY videos or Jackass.
The good old days. The good old days.
I mean, essentially, I was asking you to hit me with a car. No wonder your mom stopped me. But I was convinced I could get off the ground fast enough that you would not actually hit me with it. That I would just land on the hood. For the record, if anyone watching this on YouTube, I was a much slimmer man then.
Oh, that's, yeah. Oh, fun times. Anywho.
Yeah, let's get on with it, David.
You know, since, which way did you go, George? Squirrel.
We always start with a little fun banter, so, you know.
Oh, yeah, we always do.
I promised myself I wasn't going to curse, and then I called that lady
bullshit.
an effing twat, and here we are.
Bullshit.
Well, I try to remember that your uncle listens to this and used to play it in his store. Now I feel bad because we curse like sailors because that's what we do naturally.
Oh, that's comical. Gotta love it.
Oh, all right. Well, take the lead, David.
So this first half basically is the grade 8 chase. Will Ovechkin get the record this year, or will it be next? He has 9 goals remaining before he breaks Gretzky.
And how much time do we have left in the regular season?
Well, we're sitting at the damn screen. I just had it up. Well, we're at game 66 of for the Capitals in an 82 game season. I mean, in all reality, he can get it this year, but he just has to get that streak. He has to just get on that hot streak and get 9 goals in 16 games.
Well, I feel like that's totally. I feel like that's pretty realistic, actually, for him. I guess staying healthy would be the
well, not just staying healthy,
here.
But if he gets on a hot streak, and he just has to get on that hot streak for it to get accomplished, because he's already scored 6 goals in 2 games already.
Yeah,
you know, that's already been seen. I mean, yeah, he's already, you know, I mean, well, think about it. If he gets it this year, in the same year, he's already broken 1,600 points.
Okay.
Because right now he's sitting at 1,603. Yeah, I would say Hall of Fame no matter what at this point, even without a Stanley Cup.
Say that, you know. Yeah, but I think the bigger
but even with the Stanley Cup puts him in there.
I would think the bigger question at this point, well, it might come down to cups. Really, is Gretzky still the GOAT?
Well, here's the thing. I actually saw a video on this the other day where they said about who is the greatest of all time. Well, all time of what? All time of that era, or all time in general? Because if you put somebody in this type of era, will they still be the GOAT?
Well, that
was the question that was the question that was brought up. So can they be called the GOAT? You know, can they be called the GOAT then?
Well, and that's kind of my barometer of who the GOAT really is can they be placed in a different era of the sport and still be successful. That's why, and Brad from Baseball Together will join me in this agreement, that Babe Ruth truly isn't the greatest baseball player of all time because he could not play in the last 30 to 40 years of the game. Like he
Well,
wouldn't make it out
alcoholism will
of
do that.
but he wouldn't make it out of the minors more than likely in the last 20 years. And even if the prior 20, so we're looking at the 80s and the 90s, even then, if he made it out of the minors, he probably wouldn't have a long career because that style of the way he played was antiquated by then. So how do we continue to call this player the GOAT when his skill set would not translate to the modern game? You would need someone who could literally play in Ruth's time, but still be an effective player in modern times. So, I feel like Ovechkin is one of those players where his gameplay could translate to prior eras of the game.
Oh, I feel it could too because of the way he does play. His size alone could definitely play in that era for sure. I feel it could. And when you're saying about going with Stanley Cups, I mean, there's more people out there with Stanley Cups than Gretzky, but don't sit at the top of but don't sit on the top of the mountain.
Well,
Like Mark
but this
Messier,
is
he has, Mark Messier, he has, I think, 5 cups where Gretzky
well,
has
I
4.
meant just comparing the two of them because the comparison, not saying that it's a similar comparison, but the comparison between LeBron and Jordan. Jordan has the rings, LeBron doesn't. And that's always the deal breaker for the pro Jordan set of that argument. Would that be the deal breaker for the pro Gretzky people? Whereas, and really right now I'm looking at a comparison and I don't know how old this comparison is.
Send me that link.
It's from stathead.com.
Okay.
Give me a second here because now you totally threw me off asking for the link. I gotta go back into Discord.
You have it in Discord?
Yeah, that's where I'm sending it to you. All right, it's sent. But to me, it comes down to, I mean, awards and honors. I would say it would go towards Gretzky, 4 championship, 9 Hearts, 10 Ross, 2 Conn Smythe.
Waiting for it to load here. There we go.
But is that more representative of the era that Gretzky played compared to the era that Ovechkin played? That's kind of where these discussions go to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things to where, yes, Gretzky has the most stats right now, but look at the era.
Well, and that's another question, I'm legitimately not taking a side in this by any means. I'm just bringing up the discussion, but objectively, I think you have to really ask yourself, could Gretzky play and be an effective player like he was in the 80s and 90s in this modern era where having an enforcer is basically non-existent?
I feel Gretzky would be able to because now if Gretzky was in his prime in this era, I think he would because it's a faster game. You don't have to, he wouldn't have to worry about the headhunters.
Right.
He wouldn't have to worry about any of that. So if you would swap Ovechkin and Crosby with the eras, I think they would promise in that era.
Well, but here's I'm glad you brought him up, and here's why I go back to the role of the enforcer. Gretzky had great enforcers who did protect him. Crosby, because he played in this era of no enforcers, he has some issues because of some shots he's taken that are questionable, is how I would put it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you don't like the guy, and I try not to bring him up because you don't like the guy, but even you've admitted that if it wasn't for concussions, his career would be different.
It would be. I mean, look at Mario. He would have been further along in the stat listings than he is now if he didn't have cancer. So
Right.
it's just one of those things to where staying healthy is the biggest thing. I mean, Ovechkin has been able to stay healthy majority of his career. Yeah, he has some, issues along the line, but not as substantial as a concussion of any sort. And look at the
Right.
numbers he did. And I feel if Crosby wasn't, if he didn't have what he had, all those injuries, the concussions and all that, yeah, he would be further along in his career as well. I mean, yes, I'm not a fan of Crosby by far, but I really don't want to see a top name player go out because of something like that. Because yes, I don't like him, but he does bring to the game. I don't like him because he's a Penguin,
But you
and
recognize he's a talent. He was a
he is
talented,
a
and still is a talented player.
yes, he is a talent. He is a talented player. He does make plays that make you go, oh, okay. But you know, I feel if he didn't get injured, he would be further along, just like how Mario would be.
Right.
Gretzky and Ovi stayed healthy majority of their careers, and look what they did.
Do you? I was going to follow this up. Do you think Lemieux was the closest to, in terms of talent wise, a peer for Gretzky?
I don't think Mario would have gotten that far because of his size. Like he was, I mean, I feel he's bigger than Ovechkin, which kind of didn't, which Ovechkin still is a big guy, can still pack a punch, but I feel Mario was more like a Lindros size, like a more, not like an extremely fast skater, but an effective skater.
Gotcha.
And for those of you, there is a difference rather than being a fast skater to an effective skater. You have speed all you want, but to be an effective skater, you can find your way into little spots.
The reason I brought that up is because, I mean, granted, we were kids then, but it just felt like the discussions in hockey back then were really between Gretzky and Lemieux. Like Lemieux was almost or just as good if it hadn't been for his cancer.
Yeah, I mean, he probably would be up there. He probably would have came close. He probably would be well further along, and even in his records, because Lemieux sits at 11th right now with 690. If probably
That's
wasn't for his
nothing to
cancer,
sneeze at.
no, it's nothing to sneeze at all. But if he probably didn't get cancer, he would have hit 1,000 games because he didn't even play 1,000 games.
Right.
He only played 950 or 15. But I feel if he would have stayed healthy, he would probably be sitting, maybe joining the 800 club.
Okay.
He might be in the 800 club if he would have stayed healthy, because he did miss a lot of games due to not only his cancer but his injuries and things like that.
Right.
And again, if he would have stayed healthy, yeah, he probably would be up in the 800 club.
Okay.
That's my thought with that. He probably would have. Just like with Crosby, if he would have stayed healthy, I mean, yeah, he's already played well over 1,000 games, but I feel he would have more goals and more assists than what he does now.
I think that's a very realistic thought. Yeah. Um, I was
So,
just thinking back to, because I grew up with Sports Center on. My dad watched
oh
Sports
yeah,
Center
so did
every
I.
morning, every night. So even as a little kid, like even if I wasn't actively watching it, I could hear everything, and I always remember Lemieux and Gretzky being talked about on Sports Center. So like to me, the perception even as a kid was that he's on that level. That's why I brought that up.
Well, Lemieux has always been on that level. Lemieux has always been on that level because he is a big talented player.
Right.
So he was always on that level. It's just, again, his injuries caused him to fall behind.
It's
But
crazy to think that Crosby and Ovechkin have been playing for damn near 20 years or 20 years, I think, at this point.
yeah, because they came into the league '05
We're old.
after the lockout.
God, we're old men, David. This isn't right. This is not
Yeah,
right.
yeah, the kids tell me all the time.
I may not be able to barge a car anymore, but I still feel young, damn it.
I just find, I mean, just looking at the list though, between Ovechkin and Crosby, just the names you don't hear anymore. Like Yager,
Yeah.
you don't hear his name anymore.
Well,
You know,
we
being brought
literally
up.
talked about him not too long ago.
But I'm just saying in a normal, like, with everything, with the list. Brett
Well,
Hull,
that's also with Yager kind of out of sight, out of mind because he's still involved in the sport. He's just not involved in the sport in America.
yeah, because you have uh, Hull sitting at 5
It's
with
another
goals.
all-time great from our childhood.
Messier, he's
Yeah.
sitting at 694. Yzerman. Then you got Lemieux, Timu Solani, Luke Robitaille, Shanahan, Dave Antherchuk, Sakic, Aginla. You know, and that's just who's ahead of Crosby.
See, whenever you bring up Joe Sakic, the first thing I think of is when we were playing hits and you scored a goal on Travis and you go, lick my Sakic.
God.
And that's just forever ingrained in my head that when I hear his name, the first thing I think of is you standing up and looking at Travis saying, lick my Sakic when you scored a goal on him in hits. I'm sorry, Travis. I know he listens. I'm sorry. And I just broke myself. I'm sorry.
Yep, he's done. He is
Oh, man.
done. He's done.
We talk about it, but I like the listeners just cannot comprehend the amount of fun we had playing that game.
And still do.
And all the things we used to say to each other.
Yeah. It's a lot of things we said to each other.
You would not have thought we were as close to friends as we were and how heated some of those games got.
Some of those games got pretty intense for just being a game, but then again, we were just so competitive. We were just so into it. We just got, that focused with it.
Yeah.
Doing a head-to-head stat thing like that, yeah, Gretzky might have a lot of the marks on that, but either way, I don't think Stanley Cups are going to really deter Ovechkin. I mean,
No, but I think what it's going to come down to is the amount of awards and honors. I think.
well, if you look at those, I mean, according to that list, though, Gretzky doesn't have any Richards.
He doesn't, but he has a hell of a lot of everything else.
Well, yeah. So one to another.
But do
I
you
mean,
see anyone getting 9 Hart trophies?
no, no. I don't see. I don't see a lot
That's
of
what
people
I'm saying.
getting. I don't see a lot of people getting 10 Rosses either. I don't see a lot of people getting, you know, 9 Richards.
So, but I feel like this is really where I think when you get away from the stats, I think that's where the conversation's going to eventually steer towards is awards and honors. And until someone I think can top that or match that, I think it's hard to say someone isn't the GOAT compared to Gretzky.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you can compare and come close because some things another player is going to have more than another. Like if you compare, like for let's say Conn Smythe, which is the playoff MVP, Patrick Wall has the most.
Right.
He has 4. So
Well, I would
and
say he's probably the GOAT goalie. So,
but then again though he doesn't have. But then again, Brodeur has the most wins and
yeah.
shutouts. So you know one of
Well,
those types of
see, then
things.
that I think the discussion would have to go to influence. Whose style of play influenced more future players?
Well, Brodeur looked up to Waugh.
And
So
Waugh basically created an entire style of playing goalie.
pretty much.
So that's why I would say he's the bar to shoot for as a goalie.
I love it. Well, Ovi can get closer tonight because there's a game on at 5. You know, a lot of you won't listen till tomorrow, anyways. Uh,
There was a game on Saturday at 5.
there you go. We'll call that. No, just nobody knows the results yet.
See
So
what I
he could
should
possibly
do?
get closer.
What I should do is when I edit, put in a little breaking news and then shoot in with the result. I'm not going to do that, but I should.
God. Well, I'm good for this topic.
I'm good.
You
And if you knew Morse code, I would have no idea what I was telling you when I was doing the anyway.
you probably just cursed out so many people,
I might have.
you know. So on that note, that's the end of the first, and we'll be right back.